Hello, everybody. Welcome to Yoga in Small Spaces with the Crack Yogi, me, Cheryl. Welcome to a beautiful somatic movement flow from GSY that I'll be sharing today. We're going to be focusing on 3 different somatic movement flows and with some body scans in between, connection with breath, and just all around a nice, slow introspection on yourself individually, because that's introspection, knowing the inside, observing the inside of oneself. So for today, if you want props, you can have them close by. I have blocks close by. I also have a bolster. If you don't have these type of props in your vicinity, you're more than welcome to use blankets, pillows, big thick books, whatever you have around to help with the movements in a nice, easy way. So within our somatic practice today, I'll be mentioning a few terms. And I want to say them ahead of time so that when we're not, when we are in the movements and the poses, you're not having to stop and try to figure out what I'm saying, what it means. One thing I'm going to be talking about is pendiculation and self-pendiculation. So pendiculation basically is a yawn. And when you think about when you get up in the morning, you're stretching your body. So you're stretching out, contracting the muscles, and then you let it all go. That's a pendiculation. And it's one of the main focuses within gentle somatic yoga. And it allows the muscles to contract for a moment and then completely letting go of effort. And with doing this, it sends information from the brain to the muscle with repetition for the muscles to know or relearn, re-educate, repattern how to relax, release. Another terminology I'll be using is means whereby, and I really want to talk about that at the beginning because sometimes when I mention it in the middle of a somatic movement flow, it's kind of hard for a client to get what I'm saying while you're in the middle of that movement and like, what do you mean? What are you saying? Then you lose that connection of the flow. So means whereby is another movement method that we use within gentle somatic yoga, and which is linked also to somatics. So means whereby is when you're moving through a flow, a somatic movement flow, and you get to a point in the flow where you're noticing like you feel stuck. And I don't mean it's where your full motion is. It's like your muscles just don't want to let go and they're kind of vibrating like staccato. Like if you're a musician, you know the word staccato. So it's like this bumpy feeling and you're like, or think of it as in like going over a road that's not even, a gravel road and you're bumping along the way. What that's telling you is there's sensory motor amnesia, which means the information just isn't computing from the brain to the muscle to let go. They're just not working together because the muscle's forgotten how to take that information, what relaxed and repatterning is. So when you get to that point in the pose, you just kind of want to, like, so say if I was moving in a twist and if I started feeling that bump lower right side in a twist, I would just kind of stop where I'm feeling it and then just do these little micro movements back and forth within that area of the sensory motor amnesia, SMA, and just kind of play with it. And then I would continue moving within the somatic movement flow. And eventually, the more you do that and you focus in on those SMAs and break it down even a little bit more into micro movements, the muscle learns, re-educates itself how, oh, that's what this is. This is what you're trying to tell me to do. And it relaxes and releases. So those are the 2 main terminologies I'm going to use within the practice. I also want you, when you're doing these flows, to pick the best variation and modification that works for your body. There's no right or wrong, or sorry, I should say there's no wrong way to do this. So if I have my legs crossed in any of these and you prefer to have a leg extended, you are more than welcome to have the leg extended, having props under the knees for support. If your knees are floating in any of these and you want to have blocks underneath just to take that ease, or make it easier, holding that seated position with the legs the way they are, do that. Some of these, two of them actually, no, one of them you can do seated in a chair. So if you want to sit in a chair, you're more than welcome to. And actually the second one you could, the first round you can do seated, but I won't show that today. That gets a little bit more complicated, I think. So if you're sitting on the floor and you feel like directly on the ground is too uncomfortable, please sit on a bolster or a pillow, or if you prefer to start this in a chair, you are more than welcome to come into a seated position. I'm going to start off with legs crossed. And just because I notice a little bit of discomfort in my back, I am going to make my way onto my bolster just for the beginning. And just by doing that for myself, I've taken out a discomfort in my lower back, my lower right side. As most of you know, watching my videos, the reason I'm the crack yogi, I have a lovely lower back that has issues because deep in the tissues and the joints, I have some arthritis, more the joints into the spine. So sometimes I just need that aid to make it more accessible for myself, where I can breathe with ease. Eyes can be opened or closed. Just find that natural stacking of the vertebrae. So bringing an elongation to the spine, but not going so tall where you feel rigid. I want you to find that natural curvature of the spine. Give it length, shoulders away from the ears. Smooth breath in and out of the nose. And do that internal scan, body scan. Without me guiding you through parts of the body, first pinpoint what you're noticing the most. And from that point, that spot, expand the exploration on how far that sensation is spreading. And then noticing the rhythm of your breath with sitting in stillness. You're not changing the pattern of your breath, you're just allowing it to be in its natural state. Is the breath more within the upper torso, so upper rib cage, mid-torso, so closer to the diaphragm, thoracic rib cage, or within the abdomen? Let's do 3 breaths together. We're going to inhale through the nose, exhale through the mouth. Going to take a deep breath in. Release through the mouth. Inhale. Exhale. Breath in. And breath out. Return to your natural breath. Our first somatic movement flow for gentle somatic yoga today is our somatic inside out. So you can either be sitting on that bolster. I'm going to remove the bolster for a moment just to see if my back is a little bit more at ease. Doesn't feel too bad. I'm going to stay here, but I am going to extend my legs for a moment, give a gentle shake, and then cross my legs. And I'm actually switching the cross of my legs because I sat with my right foot in front of the left for quite a bit of time. And I'm just going to give that a little bit of a break. I am comfortable like this. If you switch the legs and it just doesn't feel comfortable, go back to what feels more natural to you. So with the inside out, we're going to be focusing more upper body into the arms, wrists, and hands and fingers. Also working into the upper back, the shoulders, and the chest, pectoral muscles, and latissimus dorsi, which is our lats in the back here. So you're going to interlace your fingers and just notice which ones came on top, which ones are dominant. So for myself, my left is on top of my right. I'm going to bring my forearms together. And we're going to slowly peel the forearms away, but we keep the hands and wrists together. Nice and slow. Pause. Continuing to gently peel apart. Pause. And then I'm going to gently pull out an extension of the arms. Pause. My fingers aren't pushing, they're very neutral. And then I'm going to release arms down. Seems simple, but there's tons of benefit going on here. We're going to do that 2 more times. This time, I'm going to have my right thumb, right pointy finger on top, just to see if I notice a difference. Bringing my forearms together, elbows together. Here we go. So it's peeling apart, but my wrists and my hands are together. Then my wrists start to peel. Hands come apart, but fingers stay interlaced. Extend the arms. Pause. And release. All muscular effort. I'm really noticing that within my upper back, on my shoulders. We're going to go into it 1 more time with this position. So whatever how the fingers naturally interlace. Here we go. Elbows, forearms, hands, extension. I can see I get more mobility in my elbows this time. The first time I couldn't get my arms that straight. And pause. And take a deep breath in. And exhale. Just 1 more set to do for somatic inside out. I'm going to change the angle of my arms. So the first time I had them down here, now I'm going to bring them up higher. Now, see if you can have the arms in front of the face, not to the side, just so you're not pulling more to one side than the other. If you want to do more sets and change the angle in a different way, you can, but we're going to have the hands in front, interlace the fingers. Elbows are more, just a little bit above the chest. So now I'm going to peel forearms apart. Hands. Extend the arms overhead. Ooh, that's where I'm at. There's no, like my fingers are neutral. I'm not pulling up anymore. And then I release. Can feel a warmth gushing here on my left. 2 more times. Interlace the fingers, forearms, wrists, hands are together, and slowly peeling. Extend and release. Have one more. Arms. Here we go. Open up the forearms. Palms. Fingers. Press. Pause. And release. So I'm just going to do a gentle integration here of my wrists. Bring them the opposite direction from where I was extending my arms, and the wrists were going in the opposite direction. If you want to do circles of the wrists, you can. You can do a figure 8. Take a deep breath in and exhale. Moving on to the next somatic movement flow, which is the somatic hip opener. We're going to have right leg forward, left behind, but not on an angle, fully just sitting here with the legs bent, almost like a gentle, passive deer leg. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to work with this right leg. And your hands can be wherever they want to be for support. We're going to do a pre-check. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to see how far I can lift my knee without any aid. So I'm going to lift. This is where it naturally wants to stop. And we'll have, I think it's about a 6-inch opening below my knee. I'm going to release. So with this particular somatic movement flow, we're going to do a self-pendiculation. That's where we add a gentle push with a hand. It's not forceful. So like the leg, the thigh, and the hand are kind of playing against each other. So we're going to raise my right knee up, place my left hand on it, and it's just gently pushing. I have a little bit of a muscle contraction happening in that right leg. And release. I'm going to do 2 more of those. Raising the knee up, left hand. So right knee to left hand, gentle push. The right hand's moving, the self-pendiculation, aiding the opening. It's not super forceful. And release. One more. Bringing the knee up, left hand into right knee, gentle counteraction back and forth, but then the left hand wins out on the gentle aid, opening up that right leg, knee to the ground, and release. I'm going to do a lock-in. So it's a counter pose here just to do the opposite direction of movement and muscle contraction. So left hand's just coming underneath, lifting my right knees, pushing into my left hand into right knee, and release. Let's do a post check here. So I think I had about a 6-inch opening on my lift. Let's see what I have now. Got to here before my back went, hello. Yeah, grew exponentially, my mobility here in my hip. It's pretty cool, eh? Now, second set is we work on the back leg, the left leg. So first, we're gonna lift, see how far she can come up without any help. So I got about a 4-inch opening here, 4 to 5-inch opening. So same thing, we're gonna do a self-pendiculation. I'm gonna lift left knee, left hand, gently self-pendiculation, muscle contraction, a little bit of help, and release. We're gonna do 2 more. Lifting, left hand into the left outer thigh or knee, gentle push down, and release. 1 more. Lift, left hand, gentle aid of self-pendiculation, muscle contraction, release. Going to move into that lock-in where there's the opposite force, so left knee into left hand underneath. Pushing into one another, locking it in, and release. Let's see if the magic is there. Oh, look at that. I doubled, almost tripled my mobility there. So cool. All right, I'm going to extend my legs out. So noticing in this, we're working hips, pelvis, groin, glutes, and upper legs. Also getting into the knees and the ankles and feet. There is a third set to this somatic movement flow, but I'm not doing it today. We would add in a heel lift, but I thought just 2 sets for today was enough. So here we go. We're gonna do the same thing on the opposite side. So first I'm gonna go into my pre-check. I'm gonna lift my left leg, and this is where I'm at on this one. I'm gonna release it. If I tried to go any further, I was gonna go into a stretch, and I had a major muscle contraction happening in my lower right side. I was like, no, not gonna push it, because we don't want any pain moving into these things. We wanna go where our maximum range of motion is naturally in the body. So here we go. Lifting left knee, right hand to the inside of that left knee, gently opening, gentle push, resistance between each other, and release. Gonna do 2 more. Raising the knee up, hand to inside of that left knee, gently pushing against one another, but that hand is winning out. Release. 1 more. Knee, hand, gonna do the lock in. Yeah, I'm gonna try my right hand here, left hand here, left into outer left, and release. So let's go into my post check to see if I gained any mobility here, range of motion, with the left knee coming up. It's so cool. And gently lower it down. So amazing. So amazing. All right. We're going to move to the back leg. Again, we'll be doing self-pendiculation and then a lock-in at the end. So let's first see where my mobility is for lifting that right knee by itself up off the mat. So we'll see where my range of motion is within this right hip. Raising the knee up. Ooh, that's as far as it goes. You can see that better than me. I think it's about 6 to 8 inches and lower. Here we go. I'm gonna raise my right knee, right hand to the outside of the right knee, gently pushing down. Release all muscular effort. Second time. Right knee up, right palm to the outside of that right thigh or knee. Gentle work against one another. Right knee into right palm, but the right palm is winning out. And release. One more. Knee, hand, gentle push. And release. I'm going to do that lock in. I'm just going to grab it with, actually, yeah, it's easier. No, I'm going to do it here. Left hand under right knee up. So this time my right knee is pushing down, palm of the hands gently pushing up, and release. Let's see if I gain any mobility on the right hip in this position. Here we go. I'm always blown away. Like a kid in a candy store, or a magician, like at a magic show. Look at that. Look at that. Holy moly's, peeps. Woo. I'm gonna extend the legs out in front of me. I just get so excited. And anyone that does this with me, especially in class sessions, I love watching the reaction to my clients. It's mind-blowing. All right. We just have one more, and this is going to be the somatic standing forward fold. I'm going to make my way to standing. I'm pretty sure you'll see my head when I come to standing. So for myself on this, I'm not going to come into any of this with my legs bone straight. You always want to have at least a micro bend to your knees. But I also know my glutes, my piriformis, my quadratus lumborum, which is QL, and then iliacis muscle, they're all very tight because of my spine. So I want to be very mindful of how I'm coming into this. So my feet are going to be hip width apart. If you need your feet further apart, you can have them further apart. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to come into a pre-check just to see where we are within our forward fold without going into a stretch reflex. So I'm coming forward. And this is where I am before things start to go. And I'm about a foot from forehead to knee here, okay? So I'm gonna keep that in mind. I'm gonna come all the way back up for a moment. I'm gonna take in a nice deep breath. And exhale. We're just doing one set of this because one can be quite intense, especially when you're learning it. Two, it's an inversion, so I want to be very safe in how long my head is below my heart. Three, my neck. I want to be very mindful on what I'm doing with my neck, my cervical spine. So I'm going to naturally come forward like a rag doll. Bend my knee, or bend my elbows, so opposite hands on opposite elbow, and I do have a bend in my knees here. If I try to put my legs straight, there'd be too much, there's a stretch reflex going too deep into the leg, so I want that to bend. First round, I look a little bit more forward, so I get a curve into my spine, arch I should say, and now I bring my forearms up about nose height. Pause. Lift the head. Arms. Pause. Head. Arms. And completely let go. I'm going to do one more set. If one was enough for you, you can come out of this nice and slow. Bending the arms. Here I go. Lifting my head slightly. Forearms just a little bit above the nose. Pause. Gaze up a little bit more. Forearms. Pause. Gaze. Forearms. And release all muscular effort. I'm going to slowly roll up here. Going to go into a post check. And slowly fold forward. Remember, I was about 12 inches, I think, from my knees, where my body naturally stopped. Here I am. Can actually touch my forehead to my knees. Gonna slowly roll up. I know I giggle, but I'm so fascinated on how something so gentle has such huge benefits. Gonna take in a nice deep breath and exhale. I'm going to make my way back to a seated position. If you're joining me down here, however you can safely come to a seated position, even if you're just coming onto a chair. I'm going to end the class with a beautiful body scan. So remember how you felt at the beginning. So for myself, if you remember, I sat on a bolster because I had this numbing pain in my lower right side. I don't have that right now. It's gone somewhere else, which is amazing. So see if you can pinpoint changes through your physical body, remembering what the scan was like at the beginning. How are you feeling now? What are you noticing now, internally and externally? You're going to take in a nice deep breath. Exhale through the mouth. Bringing the palms together in front of the heart, right to left, left to right. Anjali Mudra. Just feel that connection, gentle energy transfer, right side to left, left to right. Feel the beautiful flow of your natural breath. I hope you have a beautiful day, amazing week, fantastic month. Be kind to yourself and others. And until next time, thank you so much for joining me. Bye.